I think one of the biggest areas that creatives, artists, people who want to make a living off of their creative business are struggling with is that particularly the operation of an effective business. I think a big reason why people tend to struggle in this area is one, because it doesn't always just come naturally, and that being particularly sales or that process or just running a business. And then two, a lot of time gets spent onto the craft because, especially when it comes to creative, that's probably what they're more familiar with and more excited about pursuing, which is totally fair and valid and probably should be a part of your process if you want to do this professionally. But at the same time, so much time and attention gets put onto that craft and so little attention gets put into their actual business operations that regardless of how good you are, it seems that even some of the best creatives tend to struggle. And a lot of this has to do with the business operations. So what business operations is not is the amount of experience you have, the credibility, the projects that you have, the high quality product that you produce. While all those things are super important to your ultimate business or whatever you're trying to sell in terms of the work that you do, there will be a point where eventually those things will just be boxes that you have to have checked. So that you had to have a certain amount of talent to even have a shot. You had to have worked with a certain amount of people for them to have even come close to trusting you with this particular project. And of course, you had to have high quality images or end products that you produce, because how else would you have even been in this conversation? What will really, really matter then is the conduction of your business. How easy is it to work with you? Not just in the sense that you're a likable and personable and easy to collaborate with type of person, because again, that's another aspect, but how easy is it for this business to operate with this business in some sort of conjoining or partnering on a certain project? And so as talented as you may be, as experienced as you may be, there has to be a great level of thought put into the business operation, the effectiveness of that business. All these little crevices that can sometimes just make it difficult for a client to work with you, which diminishes your value in terms of the marketplace that you're operating in. So all this is to say is that, yeah, I think creative businesses tend to struggle because that business side isn't as carefully and meticulously thought of as the craft, which is natural. It makes sense. The craft is very, very important and very sacred for a lot of people in terms of what we do. Totally get it, and I'm totally on board for it. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to make this a sustainable business, you have to almost look at your craft as carefully as you do, your business as carefully as you do your craft, especially if you want that craft to flourish. Because not having that business in order will only diminish the value and hurt and potentially be of detriment to that craft which you're so passionate about.